Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video and March of the Lich King. The latest expansion, it's been out for a while and we haven't done what we do every single expansion and take a look at what the worst cards have been so far using HS replay stats. Kind of already know what the good cards are, like, you know, Astalor being like every deck and super good, or, you know, a potion belt being super strong, but we never talk about those cards that you open up and you just never play, and those poor suckers that do, they show the stats and they ain't pretty. And this time it's dominated by two classes, one in particular. You'll just have to wait and see. And if you enjoy this style of content and you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like, it helps us out a ton, especially as we near 69,420 subs. We're not even close, but regardless, I'm being a child. Anyways, let's take a look at what the worst cards from March of Lich King have been, at least so far. So all this data is taken from Diamond through Legend since the most recent patch 25.0.4. It's not like Prince Renethal get nerfed, may he rest in peace, as well as a bunch of rogue stuff, and well, rogue's still super good. I will mention that Path of Arthas is included in here, but none of the Pathos cards made the bottom 10 worst cards. And starting off at number 10, the first entry. There's only two classes that appear on this list. There's two classes and some neutrals. That's it. And at number 10, we have the Warlock card, Infantry Reanimator. It is a 6-mana 4/4. Not great. A battle cry, resurrect a friendly undead, give it reborn. This is in 0.2% of decks, has a deck win rate of 37.3%, and has been played 2,100 times. I will say though that this card, unlike every other card on this list, actually has a positive win rate when played, because, well, typically the card you're going to get back is Jarkon Drathir, give that reborn, and that's pretty good. But to hit that whole high roll, it basically means you're going to lose the game, as basically every other undead on this list or in the game is not worth bringing back, regardless of how good it is. Particularly the fact it comes back with reborn is not all that solid. And yes, this card not doing great, but mostly because that whole package isn't doing so well. But this is the best payoff card for it so far, outside of Jarkon Drathir, which actually has a higher played win percentage. And that card, you just play it for full mana, and it's still better than the card that brings it back. At number 9, we have our first neutral on the list. At 6 mana, it is Shatterskin Gargoyle. Is a 6-mana 4/6 undead. You can bring this back. Has Taunt and Death Rattle. Deal 4 damage to a random enemy. It is a 0.1% of decks. Has a 36.6% deck win rate, and has been played 2,000 times. And yeah, if you're looking at this artwork and it looks like, I don't remember this card, this is a card everyone has or got for free from that event, that's signature, and it looks basically nothing like this. And this art always throws me off whenever anybody plays this like generated somehow. That's not signature. It actually looks totally different. But yeah, the card, it's okay pick an arena, not even great there. And you know, it's got a decent death rattle that hits anything, which isn't particularly great. And well, Naval Mind is a 2-drop that also just goes face for 4 damage. It costs a third of this. Doesn't have taunt or stats that attack or anything, but still, it's just not a very good card, and as a result is on this list. Next, we have yet another Warlock card. You're going to be hearing that a lot. It is Amorphous Slime, a 5-mana 5/3 epic, so really bad stats. In 0.2% of decks, has a deck win rate of 36.4%, and is the most played card on this list. People have tried to make this work. Played 3,500 times, and unlike Infantry Reanimator, it doesn't even have a positive win rate when played. Basically, you can discard a random undead, and then Death Rattle, you summon a copy of it. So you're trying to get your Jarkon Drathir, you're trying to get your Savage Yimyar, whatever you want to call that. You're trying to hit that stuff, and even when you do, you lose the game because you're getting a 5-mana 5/3 that doesn't do anything. It just sits there and you blow up. Especially in such a hyper-aggressive game we have now, you really can't afford to do that. And as a result, yeah, the card is doing pretty bad. Next on the list, we have the Bloody Knight. Another neutral minion. Is a 3-mana 4/5. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to your hero. This is in all of 0.02% of decks, 36.1% deck win rate, and played all of 370 times. I even made a tweet recently with it, just a vanilla Chillwind Yeti, no text on it, see play. And well, this has a pretty minimal downside, taking 2 damage, and it's dreadful. It's terrible. You never want to do that. And well, yeah, I don't even think a vanilla 4/5 would see play, but it certainly wouldn't be this bad, because not only does it, not do what it used to do back in the day, a Yeti or whatever, it also kind of kills you. And again, in a burn meta, you don't want to be helping your opponent burn yourself out just for a bit of stats a little bit early. So yeah, another bad card. And at number 6, we have our other class on the list, and to no surprise, it is Warrior. It is Silver Fury Stalwart, a 6-mana 4/8 taunt with Rush, and it can't be targeted by spells or hero powers in 0.07% of decks. It has a deck win rate of 35.7%. It has been played 1,600 times. This card is like the pack filler of pack fillers. You would expected this to come out during like Ungoro or whatever, right? When they had the Taunt Warrior quest. And this was like, cool, you could play this at like rank 10 back in the day, or sorry, rank chicken 20, whatever it was, 25, I can't remember anymore. But yeah, now you play it at bronze 10, and yeah, it's still just not a good card. I don't know if there's ever a card that will make this good. I can't see it. I don't know why Warrior got this when Warrior was terrible. And yes, it's on the list. And well, let's get to the last Warrior card on the list. That's right. At number 5, this is the worst Warrior card. There's 4 cards worse than the worst Warrior card. So you're in for a doozy here. I'm surprised this isn't the worst one, to be fair. Last Stand, 4-mana spell, you draw a taunt minion. So just 1 minion for 4 mana, you double its stats. Well, you can make that Silver Fury Stalwart and 8/16 Barokin. It is in 0.06% of decks, has a 32.5% deck win rate, and has been played all of 1,200 times. You're drawing 1 card for 4 mana, while Rogue is drawing 4 for 0. How is that going to compete? I know you get double the stats and it tutors something, but it's just so unbelievably slow in today's game. You could probably make this 2 or 3 mana and it would still be unplayable, but as it stands, it's just the worst Warrior card, and yeah, still not the worst on the list. And well, at number 4, we have a 4-mana card. It is a neutral, Silver Moon Armor. It is a 4-mana 4/4, it has Rush, mana thirst 7, meaning you have to have 7 mana crystals. Just unlock, that's all you have to get to 7 mana. Can't like coin or innervate it out or anything like that. And then it gains +2/+2. It is in 0.04% of decks, has a deck win rate of 30.1%, and has been played all of 910 times. Decent arena pick, but let's be real. It's a 4-mana 6/6 Rush by turn 7. That's like whatever. That's not really worth putting in your deck. But the biggest fail of this card, besides, well, how just whatever vanilla it is, they didn't even make it a 4-mana 7/7. You couldn't have at least given it the +3/+3, so it's a 4-mana 7/7. It's not even a good meme. It's just a fail. It's a fail, but that's the last neutral on the list, meaning the top 3 cards are all Warlock cards, and ironically, they're quite good in another format, at least 2 of them. And starting off with a card that got Tone Tampering banned in Wild, we have Soul Barrage, the 5-mana shadow spell. When you play or discard this, deal 6 damage, randomly split amongst all enemies. It is in 0.04% of decks, has a 28.5% deck win rate, has been played 340 times. There's no good discard cards in Standard. There aren't. In Wild, there's a ton, so much this card was tier S broken with Tome Tampering, which got banned, which is in Standard. But when you have like Malkazar's Imp, and you have Hand of Gul'dan, you have the Solarium, all these incredible cards, this card is insane in Wild, yet that bad in Standard. It just shows you, like, for example, how I talk about buffing cards can be a bad idea, because the card might not necessarily be bad, the support is bad, and Soul Barrage is a sign of that, because when you get this for free, it's a free 6 damage. That's great, but in Standard, you just can't really get it for free reliably or copy it up with the expired merchant. So yeah, really bad card in Standard, really good card in Wild, or at least it really was. And at number 2, similar story, The Walking Dead, a 3-mana 2/5 undead warlock minion taunt. If you discard this minion, summon it. It's a 0.04% of decks. It is a deck win rate of 27.9%, has been played 460 times. Just say the exact same argument as Soul Barrage. This sees play in Wild and discard Warlock. This sees play in Duels and discard Warlock, just like Soul Barrage, because of cards like Tome Tampering, Malchezaar's Imp. Again, it is the worst performing standard card, the second worst, yet not really a bad card. It just needs the support. So again, it's like, will Blizzard make this a 3/5? Won't move the needle at all, but it'll break the game in another format or later on. So it really does kind of exemplify or like highlight the buff issue we see in the game sometimes. And at number 1, the winner of, well, the loser, I guess, of this list, the last Warlock card to make it. And we talked about this card briefly earlier. It is a 5-mana 7/7 undead Savage Ymir. It has Rush. It's got Battlecry, discard 2 cards. It is a 0.02% of decks, a 25.6% deck win rate. Atrocious. It's been played 370 times, and ironically, when it's played, it's got an 18% win rate when played, and its mulligan win rate is 15%. Is by far the worst card of the expansion in terms of numbers. It's also, even with discard Warlock being good and Wild, unplayable there, unplayable in Duels. It's just bad. Whereas Doomguard was a 5-mana 5/7, did the same thing. It at least had charge, it could go face, and that card's been cut for discard Warlock for ages. This card doesn't even do that, so if you like cheat it out and resummon it, it's just Rush, and that's not really good in an aggressive discard deck. And this is one of the only cards that are like in standard that can actually discard cards. So when your whole deck discard package is built around a card that discards and absolutely sucks, it kind of makes sense why all those other kind of pretty good discard cards are the worst performing cards of the entire expansion. And ironically, these cards, except probably for this one, could all be really good in the future, so look out for that. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and let me know what you guys think are the real worst cards, not so much just tied to deck win rate, which of course is not the perfect indicator of anything, but it's the easiest way to sort it. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.